Hi, my name is Tanya Chacon. Welcome to my pillow fort. Let's pretend that we're like having a sleepover or something, and I'm going to read you some of my writing because it's the 12th of February, and February, a bunch of honestly awesome things are going on. And one of them is that I'm participating in Dana, aka DL Pitchford, link is below, her February Drabble Challenge or February Drabble Club. She has a prompt or like a combination of 2 prompts for every day, and you can write a drabble going off of those prompts every day. I'm doing that. I'm not really writing drabbles per se. So a drabble, per definition, apparently is like exactly 100 words. So not over, not under, not circa. It's just 100 words. And I've done that exactly once in 12 like drabbles so far. But I don't mind that really. I've written a bunch of flash fiction things of different lengths, and a bunch of them, I love them, and so I'm going to share them with you. That's what this video is. And I'm actually going to start us off on a little poem which is not actually part of the drabbles, but it is written to honor the drabble, the mighty form of a drabble, because also like you can there's a new one that I haven't read yet, because like we have in the Discord, Storyteller Society Discord, we have like a channel, a forum where we're like sharing each other's our drabbles with each other, which is always amazing. I have to still to read. Anyway, we'll do that in a minute. Let me see, because you can also like, you can both go wild and like write whatever various things, different genres, different formats, different whatever. That's basically what I'm doing. But you can also use those prompts and drabbles, this challenge, to like explore whatever your work in progress is. That's what some people do, and so I wrote a poem to that. And so that's where we're going to start off. 1 second. I have to scroll up because there's literally every day a lot of awesome writing. It is so cool. So cool. You can still join. Check out Dana's channel in the description. Here's my little poem to the drabble. It goes: you drabble to dabble, and the drabble dabbles your story with sunlight and insight. Dip dab your toes in it. We want to hear the ripples it makes as you dance with the drabble delights. It's just a cute little thing. And also, someone made a freaking song out of it. I'm not sure if I can share it. Like, share the fact that there's a song out there with a bunch of word plays around the word drabble, and also featuring this poem, and it's the best thing ever. Yeah. Okay. Now, let me read out some things, okay? So we have various, and I'm not sure where I should even start. Should I? Okay, I will just start with the first one. This was the first day, and it's actually freaking awesome in my very humble opinion. The prompts were a shattered wine glass and fairy lights. A letter. I hate getting mail. And on top, a nice phone call to warn me about the contents of that letter. a careful voice choosing gentle words. Good luck. And would I want a recommendation for a lawyer? No one offered to pay any men of the law, of course, which turned everything back to money, which was where everything had started, where everything always started. My therapist says not to use everything and always. No, don't be silly. My online therapist, whose videos I watch on my scant lunch breaks. Well, I guess now I have all the time in the world to work on myself. And according to everyone, I'm a piece of work who can't ever be trusted, but with any job. And without a job, I might as well not be on my daughter's birth certificate, because what makes a good mother but a stable income? What counts is on the inside, my ass. Actually, let's explore what's on the outside. The whole time I've been standing in this half-cleaned room with its white-ish furniture and its pleasant-ish decor and the trying too hard flowers. Half-cleaned because I hadn't finished before I was taken off the case, as it were. I've been ruining today's underpaid work by smushing hot Cheetos into the fluffy rug with my bare toes. A delightful sensation. You should try it sometime. But I can do better. I do have ambition. I have plenty. I open the glass panel door to the balcony that wraps around the building and take in a breath of fresh, woods-infused air. I step outside. The tiling is cool on my red-caked soles. It's a lovely summer evening and the night sky is making a watercolor collage with the pink and orange ombre sunset. Fairy lights are strung to encourage the stars to shine a little brighter. It should be cleansing, peaceful, just as the phony brochures preach. Take a vacation, girl, you earned it. You need it. Because, honey, you look run down. Life isn't becoming you, I'm afraid, but it could be so easy. What's cleansing is the fire. Good God, you're so jumpy. Don't worry, not that kind of fire. I wish. But just as good as the fire inside me. That's the one that counts, am I right? My eyes are blazing, feverish. My smile so sharp-edged that sparks catch between my teeth. My veins are alive with an inferno. Of course, fire burns brighter with an accelerant. Have you ever had one of those cocktails where they light the surface with blue flames? Well, all I have is wine. It's good, semi-expensive wine though, so I let it diffuse me. I have never felt so present and in the moment. I've never been so beautiful. I am glowing. My fingertips are black with the smeared edges of burnt letters, paperwork, folders, protocols, carefully selected to make for a legally very damning trail of tax fraud and neglect of contractual obligations. I only needed to understand the basics, and I had found a very likable online lawyer to explain those to me. Laughable, how easily destroyed a livelihood can be, how fire resistant a bathtub is when that's not what it's meant for. You grow with your challenges, think out of the box, anything is possible. Suddenly, I'm feeling artistically inclined. My muse is an angel on fiery wings with cut glass feathers, and I take the wine glass, dripping with the dregs of my wine, smash it against the bed frame. A small yelp escapes me, but let's forget that. Focus on this. That with the shards spread out in a formation like an asterisk burying the lead, and the various red stains sprinkled among them like bitter truth. I've made a mosaic of incinerated dreams on the carefully inoffensive rug. Tell me that's not poetic. Frankly, I think this one eats, actually. And on the first day, yeah, this is like an angry contemporary, maybe a thriller, you know? Yeah, fabulous. Okay. Shall I just go in, how do you say, chronological order? I'm not going to read all of them because I don't love all of them, but I do love the one of the second day. And the second day, the prompt was churning water and Monday morning. Okay, let me try. How do I voice this? This is like not a human, so I don't know. It's like a horror monster. Not really a monster, but like something, a presence in the water. Maybe a whisper. Maybe that would work. Ooh, I don't know. It could work. Okay, let's try it. I've never said that I'm good at this. I just really like reading aloud. That's all. Never said that I'm like good at narration. Monday morning doesn't make sense. Would have been time if the words drop in muffled through the ceiling of water. My pond's surface wafts smoothly again, but their voices are still a disturbance. They've removed you by now, or so they think. You left behind only a husk, trying to dissolve and become brackish loam in peace. Hush, it's all right. You're here with me, safe. I know your sleep is troubled yet, so let me tell you your story. The tears on your cheeks and in the spikes of your lashes like dewdrops beaded on finely spun spider webs. They glinted in the gloom of the woods, like a beacon, bright as moons. That's how I knew you were for me, and my tears, they called to you, too. A song weaving itself between your ankles, tugging on the backs of your knees, guiding your steps over roots and fallen branches. I collect them here, my tears. Spread my arms wide in them, my hair is braided in their quiet, winding streams. Each tear another heartbreak, and making for a body of water all my own. Body of water. That's what you can call me, sweet. Though I haven't always been gliding and lovely. We all start somewhere. The ending. That's where the magic happens. You reached the bank and I made it easy for you. Sloshing, frothing waves, swelling, waning, climbing, falling. Churning waters make for a poor mirror, and so you didn't see your own face. You saw your troubles as you tested the water with your fingertips, grazing my lips. I could taste the tears you had wiped away on your trail here. I was your reflection in that moment, deep as a well, fierce as a waterfall, and I ache even now, recollecting that perfect moment of coming home. And your future evaporated in the shadows sloughing off you as you sank in, bathed in my sorrows, your own rendered but a rivulet. Water has its own gravity, a drag. Once you sank in, there was no end to the plunge, and the sunbeams of your hair fanning around your brows, your dear wide eyes eclipsed, until you left your world and entered mine. So unfortunately my voice does not do justice to this, but I love it. It's like so, like I fully leaned into the eerie horror. Like this is horror, which I've never, like I haven't, like basically all I've written so far is like YA fantasy. And actually, you don't know yet, but I have a new project as well. It's like a novella, and it is YA fantasy, but it's like also they're kind of also college aged actually, and also it's like contemporary fantasy. So, but anyway, like haven't written a thriller-ish contemporary or horror before this, so this was really fun. Okay. I wonder how often like audiobook narrators go to the bathroom, because I imagine that they read, that they drink a lot to help with the throat and the weird mouth sounds and everything. Okay, the next one is also rather long actually, but it's a little bit bloated, I feel like, with interiority, but you make your own mind up. And it's a contemporary romance, basically. Okay, the prompt here is the sting of antiseptic and second cousin. Kids and children's words everywhere get to have PS4s and endless drawings on the wall, I say as I have Celine deposit a fresh heap of research books on the nightstand. Ugly ones, she adds. It's not a question or a plea, that's generally how I get Cora, my favorite nurse, to overlook hospital protocol. She gives me one of her looks in between checking the monitors and scribbling notes on her clipboard. Vexation and affection as one. Celine smirks as she builds squat towers along both sides of my hospital bed, everything where I can reach it. I don't mention to either how the hard covers lean towards my indent in the mattress and press into sensitive skin. I know Cora will admonish me for the bruising later. Celine leaves me with a showy kiss on the forehead and a private wink. She actually makes a mwah sound, making them think of kissing. She calls that tactic. At 42, Celine is such a dork. Now it's just us. Do you really need to know what Mary Shelley's 30 second cousins were up to between 1810 and 1820? Cora asks, amused, as she renews the medical tape holding the needle in place on the back of my hand. Her hands are always cool and sure. They don't linger like her smile does, and already she's onto checking the dosage in the IV bag. Her Flora shampoo mingles with the constant sting of the antiseptic smell in my room. Crucial research, I say distractedly, watching her do her work. I still don't understand how Cora is so good at multitasking. I'm fascinated by the path her focus follows from task to task, entirely absorbed, and yet she'll still hold a conversation as if you're the only thing in the room. Even random questions thrown at her through the open door don't rattle her. Quite often she looks over at me and pretends to be exasperated about my many sins. I try my best to give her reason to. Are you gonna stay or go? I ask her, opening one of the books. The Godwins and the Shelleys, the biography of a family. Even though that isn't actually where I am in my research at the moment, I'm working on chapter 13. Death as a constant in Mary's life. I skipped ahead. I add, I kind of have a tight deathline. She hates it when I call it that, and inevitably I get a big eye roll out of her. I know she doesn't have the time today to sit beside me as I go through my books, to get the pen for me when it rolls off my bed, ask ridiculous questions about my favorite subject, or talk about my family, who don't come visit nearly enough. Her family are a handful, and she's the one who doesn't get to go be with them enough. She straightens out my get well cards. All done. Need anything else? All set. I pat my book stacks and she smiles at me. Good. Time. It always comes down to a shortage of time for all of us. But I don't want to think about that now. Today is a good day and I want to make headway rather than fall into a mood that has me coiled up in bed, staring at the wall. It's a rare treat when Cora has to read through her stacks of patient files and has the time to sit down for it too. Maybe after her shift. She leaves me with another box of my favorite almond cookies, and that brings back my shit-eating grin. Thank you, I call after her as the door closes. I swear I hear "You're welcome" and another smile. She always claims that a friend from book club brings them, Sometimes she misspeaks and says a neighbor did it. They arrive every 12 days like clockwork, very according to the allowances in my dietary plan. I've thought about saying something more than once to make her squirm, but I'm saving that for a little later. I'm not in a rush yet. I take a bite and, my mouth full of flavor and crumbs, I grin into my book and don't even feel silly for it. So do not quote me on any of the medical stuff or the hospital things or the nurse, whatever. Pretend that this is like a kind of like a cute, but maybe sometimes a little bit trashy, like hospital romance. So yeah, also like my throat is actually starting to hurt, which is probably not because of the amount of reading that I'm doing, or the amount of talking rather, because I just did a live stream and I was talking a lot. It's probably like the way that I use my throat, which is not ideal. Probably like not relaxed enough or whatever. But yeah, I have two more, but these are like shorter. Okay. Here's one that is kind of like, I honestly don't really know what it is. It could be a dark fantasy, a dark fairy tale. It could be anything really, and I'm really not sure what the world here is or what's happening or what's going to happen. Okay, so just go with it. And also, I kind of misused the prompt, but who cares? So the prompt is an algae-covered fountain, which I actually used a well instead of a fountain, accidentally, but whatever. And then the other part is bloodied knuckles. Okay. On the bottom of a well, a baby was cradled in a blanket of dried kelp, exposed to light. Big crab pincers adjusted the blanket and the baby giggled, searching beady eyes. The soft tuft of a tail caressed fat cheeks the last time. And then, before crow feet scuttled away row by row, came a hearty pinch. The baby wailed. Tiny lungs heaved, and eventually someone came to find me. That was then. Ever since that day, the well water has stood untouched to the brim, a constant layer of algae and leaves floating on top. Every night I would go to survey the water levels. They say the well reaches down to another world, that it sealed the gates after spitting me out. Some say it's hell, but they take care not to say it to my face. Never has the well been dry again until this summer. Never has someone tried to climb in and see for themselves. Until this fool, drunk on courage, trying to impress the barmaid. Maybe they aren't even the ugliest of their kind. This to my face. It's a mockery, a violation, and I have a sneer of rage on my face as I bloody my knuckles. I really sell it. Then a hit to my jaw and I'm flat on my back. Someone in the audience with shaky hands delivers him a knife and he holds the thin blade to my throat. I hold back, a chortle. The weight lifts, and I stay down as what is now a small party moves out, united in their heroic quest. Good. I have done my part. I taste my blood, seabed, and limestone, and give them a lead before I follow. So, no clue who this character is. I don't even know, like, if all of these animal body parts, if that's like one, like, it was supposed to be one creature, but I'm not sure. Could also be like a collection. So now to top us off, a really short one, really cute one, which honestly could very well be a picture book, or it could turn into a middle grade. Like, I'm tempted. It's actually really sweet, I think. And the prompt is a single knitting needle and cherry lip balm. That is actually from today. How do I read? A child. Okay. My great-grandmother is a witch in a fairy tale book. I know we're not supposed to lie in the essay, but I'm not. Her name is Elfrida, and she's both a good witch and a bad witch. It depends on the day. You better not make her mad. One day, one of her knitting needles went missing. Oh, she was so mad. She made everything in the house fly to the ceiling. Not her witchy house, our house, because her book sits on my bookshelf. But when I smeared cherry lip balm on one of her favorite pages by accident, she made the page glitter and gave me pink hair even though Mom had said no. She says she likes to have a flavorful life. That's what one of her stories is about. It has a giant cake house with 100 layers. One day I'm going to visit her and we'll make up brand new stories. Can I hand one in for a better grade? Also, don't tell my parents, please. I think they wouldn't allow me to keep the book. So yeah, there you are, from angry mom thriller to creepy horror to hospital romance to dark fairy tale, whatever that is, and a children's book. So I'm honestly really happy with these that I read to you. Actually, wait, okay, I might need to make a part 2 actually, because apart from how I'm going to write more, because the month still has a bunch of days, but I actually have also 2 things that are like from like actual projects of mine. One is in what I think might end up being like a short story collection. Like, it's in the same world as the Secret Santa story that I wrote for Matteo. And the other one is the first chapter of the whole first chapter, pretty much. Like, they don't have names yet. But it's like, yeah, it's like almost entirely done. First chapter of my brand new novella project, which I'm calling Epic Platonic Love Story, TM. And that is 1,800 words, and so I'm not going to read it right now because it's late and my throat is dying. So yeah, but like, I can highly recommend doing prompts, doing flash fiction, like stretching your creative muscles. Actually, like, for tomorrow I've planned to have one in like the form of a screenplay, which is so fun. And then I have like a historical, yeah, like basically a historical murder one in the works. Like, I've already brainstormed a little bit. I have like 2 kind of bumbling criminals, and that's over text. Like, there are so many things that you can do and like be fun and creative with it. And obviously you can also do proper actual drabbles. Should I read you the one and only drabble that I actually have written that is actually 100 words? I'll read it to you. Moral of the story is, I'm having the time of my life. I'm building so much creativity and confidence, and it is so amazing to like share the writing every day with people. Like, I've already trained that a little bit with the one thing challenge, where I would also do prompts, but like different kinds of prompts every day. But yeah, do join us. in the challenge. It's so much fun. And I believe it's good for you. Okay, so here's my actual drabble to round us up. The prompts were fresh sun tea and mismatched socks. So sun tea apparently is like a thing where you put the tea leaves in water and you put it in the sun. Like this obviously requires that you're like in a hot, very sunny area, and like the heat of the sun instead of boiling water is what makes the tea, okay? If you didn't know, I had to Google it. Okay. I call it chaos. You call it inspiration. Big vocabulary. And find small wonders behind sofa cushions. Agree to disagree. I pick up laundry in your room while you sleep, all sniffling nose and grandfather snore. Mismatched socks peek out from under the cover. I almost trip over a cup of clover leaves and beheaded daisies in water. It sits there in the sun coming in through the veranda door. I can't decide if this is you feeding bugs or brewing pretend wine. I'm reminded of those sun tea posts, steeped in summer dreams. And I wonder who had the idea. And different endings. One ending is like, your creation stays where it is. Or, and I wonder who had the idea, basically. So yeah. Like writing an actually 100 words Drabble thing is quite hard, to be honest. But yeah. Okay, I'm getting tired. This is where I'm going to leave you, and I'm going to go to bed, I think. And yeah, thank you so much for watching and listening me read out some of my words. If you stayed until the end, leave me a candle emoji for like the cozy. I hope this is not giving like horror movie vibes and more like cozy vibes. Yeah, leave me a candle emoji. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soonish, hopefully, with part 2. And yeah, bye. Have a good rest of your day and or night. Bye. Carefully selected to make a legally very damning trail of tax fraud and neglect, and carefully selected to make for a legally very damning trail of tax fraud and neglect of carefully selected to make for a I need a drink, actually. How do I voice this? I don't know. The words drop in muffled. No. The words drop in muffled. The words drop in muffled. To the ceiling of water, my pond surface. Nope. She leaves me with another box of my favorite almond cookies, and that brings back my shit. Oh. On the bottom of a well, a baby was cradled in a blanket of dried kelp, exposed to light. What is that voice? That's horrible. Dried kelp. Big crab pincers adjusted the blanket, and the baby giggled. Oh, God. Then, before crow feet scuttled away row by row, came a hearty pinch.